Good evening, everybody. I'm Lou Dobbs. We've seen other presidential candidates try what appears to be Jeb Bush's newest political strategy. The governor trying to revive his presidential campaign by attacking Republican frontrunner Donald Trump. Bush escalated his war of words with Trump, releasing a scathing attack ad mocking Trump's admission that he gets some foreign policy from cable news shows. And for his part, Trump is calling out both Jeb Bush and his brother George, insisting his strong immigration policies would have prevented the September 11th attacks had those policies been in effect at that time. Also tonight, a big week for Hillary Clinton. She testifies Thursday on the Benghazi terrorist attacks. Democrats on the Select Committee already launching an offensive on her behalf, putting out a lengthy report that they say proves Clinton is not at fault. And Republicans arguing that there was a total disconnect between the political priorities of Clinton's State Department and the security needs of the Americans in Libya. We'll have a full report for you. And Clinton could be facing new competition in the race for the White House. Sources tell Fox News Vice President Biden is expected to announce he will enter the race. But there's some debate over when that announcement might come. We take all of that up with Pulitzer Prize-winning journalist Michael Goodwin and The Blaze's Amy Holmes. And legendary investor Wilbur Ross among our guests here tonight. We'll talk about whether a Republican or a Democratic president would be more likely to restore American prosperity. Our top story tonight, the bitter fight between Donald Trump and Jeb Bush. Trump arguing that his hardline stance on immigration would have prevented the September 11th attacks. But Bush says he has, quote, grave doubts about Trump's ability to lead the country. He says Trump talks about foreign policy like a reality TV star. Fox News chief political correspondent Carl Cameron with our report.
Had he been president in 2001, Donald Trump says the 9/11 attacks might not have happened.
I am extremely tough on illegal immigration. I'm extremely tough on people coming into this country. I believe that if I were running things, I doubt those people would have been in the country.
Except most of the hijackers were legally in the United States. Trump was defending his criticism of Jeb Bush for saying his brother did keep the nation safe after the attacks. Trump took it in a pre-9/11 context.
I'm not blaming George Bush, but I don't want Jeb Bush to say my brother kept us safe, because September 11th was one of the worst days in the history of this country.
My brother responded to a crisis, and he did it as you would hope a president would do. He united the country, he organized our country, and he kept us safe. And there's no denying that.
Bush went after the billionaire frontrunner's character.
It looks as though he's an actor playing the role of a candidate for president, not boning up on the issues, not having a broad sense of the responsibilities of what it is to be a president.
A Bush online attack ad notes the commander-in-chief controls the nuclear arsenal and questions Trump's fitness for office.
I will be so good at the military, your head will spin.
Let me tell you, I'm a really smart guy.
Calling into Fox and Friends this morning, Trump backed up and refocused on Iraq.
Did he keep us safe at home?
Well, we haven't had a major problem at home. I agree with that. I never disagreed with that. But we attacked a country. And you know what we have for it right now? Zero.
Meanwhile, Dr. Ben Carson clarified his claim in the last GOP debate that he would have avoided the war in Afghanistan by threatening to make the U.S. energy independent, causing moderate Arab states to hand over bin Laden in 2 weeks.
I think that probably would have trumped any loyalty that they had to people like Osama. Being able to use our drones and being able to use our intelligence and things of that nature, I think that's probably all that was necessary in Afghanistan.
The GOP frontrunners are at odds with party hawks.
Some idea that the Saudis and other Gulf Arab states would find bin Laden if we declared energy independence makes no sense to me. When Trump says that he would have prevented this, 16 of the 19 hijackers were here legally. So I guess you could say nobody could ever come to the country.
9 days to the next debate and 15 weeks to the first caucuses in Iowa. And on foreign policy, Republicans are at war not just with Democrats, but with one another. Lou?
Carl, thank you. Carl Cameron. Fox News has also learned the Secret Service is moving to provide 24-hour protection for Republican presidential candidates Trump and Carson. It's rare for such protection to be granted before a candidate receives their party's nomination, but the Secret Service making exceptions based on threats, and both campaigns reportedly requesting the protection after receiving threats. On the Democratic side, Hillary Clinton already has Secret Service protection as a former First Lady. Clinton is also scheduled to testify this Thursday before the House Select Committee on Benghazi. The Clinton campaign accuses the committee of bias, particularly after House Majority Leader Kevin McCarthy said the committee's work had driven down Clinton's popularity with voters. But the chairman of the Benghazi committee, Congressman Trey Gowdy, utterly dismisses the claim.
I have told my own Republican colleagues and friends, shut up talking about things that you don't know anything about. And unless you're on the committee, you have no idea what we've done, why we've done it, and what new facts we have found.
Tonight, we take a look at many of the facts that will be raised by that committee Thursday. Fox News Chief Intelligence Correspondent Catherine Herridge with our report.
In the year leading up to the September 12 terrorist attack, there were 234 security incidents in Libya, 50 of which took place in Benghazi, including this assassination attempt on the British ambassador, as well as an IED attack that blew a hole in the U.S. consulate's perimeter wall. The emails from Ambassador Chris Stevens were only now released to the Select Committee.
He even joked in an email, maybe we should ask another government to pay for our security upgrades because our government isn't willing to do it.
2 months before the attack that killed 4 Americans, this cable shows Stevens requested another 13 security personnel to help him safely travel the country. The request was turned down by Mrs. Clinton's deputy, Patrick Kennedy. Adam Zagorn has investigated security mismanagement at the State Department.
Patrick Kennedy, who is the chief administrator of the department, has testified on quite a number of occasions about this, yet the pattern repeats, so one has to question what is really being done.
A State Department security officer later told Senate investigators that he was so short-staffed that he had to choose between guarding the Tripoli airport, their lifeline to the outside world, and sending a team with Stevens to Benghazi on September 11th. In August 2012, it had become so violent, there was an emergency meeting with the CIA whose secret annex was across town. This classified cable warned the consulate could not withstand a, quote, coordinated assault, and there were, quote, 10 Islamist militias and al-Qaeda training camps within Benghazi. Yet, like other requests, no security was added. And on September 11th, when the attack came in 3 phases, documents suggest the local guard force Blue Mountain, Libya, was operating without a valid license because of a contract dispute. And CIA security told Fox's Brett Baer they were ordered not to immediately help.
If I gave you that 30 minutes back and I gave you some air power, would Ambassador Stevens and Sean Smith be alive today?
Yes, to me, if without the delay, they would still be alive.
Despite the documents, a State Department spokesman said today there was no gap in security. Though a close deputy to Ambassador Stevens reports security personnel had dropped from 38 to just 9 at the time of his death. And Stevens was in Benghazi because Mrs. Clinton wanted him to establish a permanent operation there. Lou?
Catherine, thank you. Catherine Herridge. Hillary Clinton's problems and her failures at the State Department continue to pile up. Independent audits and interviews compiled by the Associated Press say the State Department was among the worst federal agencies on the issue of cybersecurity while she was in office. And the report says that the department has not improved. The situation has deteriorated under John Kerry. Clinton's emails reportedly show she was aware of the State Department's technology shortcomings, but was focused on other issues, including diplomacy. Will he or won't he? The speculation is reaching a fever pitch in the Democratic Party. Vice President Biden apparently struggling to decide whether to jump into the race for his party's presidential nomination. Could it be that the Democratic race is about to get a lot more interesting? 3 sources tell Fox News White House correspondent Ed Henry that Biden has decided to run, that he will enter the race, but there is no indication as to when he would kick off his candidacy. There are reports Biden could make an announcement within the next 48 hours before Clinton testifies on Benghazi. Other reports suggest he might wait until after she testifies, and some just don't know what he will do. I feel like I'm one of those. We're coming right back. Much more straight ahead. Stay with us.